Hey, so today's lesson is all about small talk in English conversations, and you are going to learn 5 steps to help you make great small talk. So let's get started. First of all, what is small talk and why is it so important? Small talk is light, casual conversation. It's chit chat. It's like a warm-up conversation before you get to the main topics that you want to discuss or the main topics that you want to talk about, all right? And why is it so important? There are many reasons actually. First of all, small talk is polite. And if you are polite, this is seen as professional in English speaking environments, all right? So it's polite, it's professional. Small talk is expected in most social and professional situations. As well, it makes people feel comfortable. It makes people feel comfortable and want to continue having a conversation with you. Small talk also helps you to build relationships, and it helps you to create a positive first impression of yourself. So there are many reasons why small talk is important. And I want to remind you that language and culture go hand in hand. Language and culture, they go together. And this is something that I often remind my students, and I want you to keep this in mind. Language and culture go hand in hand. They can't be separated, okay? And part of the culture in English-speaking companies and English-speaking countries is to make small talk. So again, this is expected. So for all of these reasons, small talk is a very important skill to develop, and it will seriously help you to level up your English speaking skills and your English communication skills. So now let's talk about the 5 steps that you can follow to make great small talk, personally and professionally. Step 1 is ask the right questions and use the right phrases. So what are the right questions, all right? First of all, you should ask open-ended questions. So open-ended questions cannot be answered with yes or no, okay? These are just yes/no questions. They're closed questions. There's not really much more you can say. You can just say yes or no. So stay away from closed questions. Ask open-ended questions because you give the other person a chance to speak freely, to elaborate on their ideas, to explain a little bit more, to feel comfortable. And that's the whole point of small talk, right? So first of all, open-ended questions, okay? Secondly, avoid controversial or personal questions, especially the first time that you're meeting someone. Now you have to put a little bit of thought into this. You need to think about where you are and who you are speaking to. You have to think about cultural differences, age differences, religious differences. There are many things that could be offensive or too personal for other people, especially if you are doing business overseas or you're working with international clients. You really have to consider if your questions might be offensive to them, might make them uncomfortable, and might be controversial. And if you're not sure, it's better to just stay away from those questions, okay? So open questions, nothing too personal, nothing too controversial, all right? As well, once you think of some good, solid questions to ask, you can literally write them down and learn them, okay? And you have this database or this bank of questions that you can ask in pretty much any situation, so that if you are faced with a situation where you have to make small talk, you don't feel unprepared, you don't feel stressed about thinking of the right questions, okay? So you can prepare your questions ahead of time. And once you have your questions, you can also learn some useful phrases, some natural phrases that you can just plug into your conversations. For example, the phrase, "Tell me, I'm curious why blah, blah, blah," and then you can ask a question, okay? It's a short, simple phrase, but it's really natural and you can literally just plug it in to any conversation. Now don't worry, in part 2 of this lesson, I'm going to share 40 super useful phrases and questions that you can ask during small talk. So make sure that you stay tuned for part 2 of this lesson. Step 2 is listen actively. Listen actively. Now, active listening is when you are listening to someone, thinking about what they're saying, processing the information, paying attention to details, all right? And passive listening is when you are hearing them, you're hearing sound, but the information is kind of going in one ear, out the other ear. You're not really thinking about it. It doesn't really matter to you. It's just kind of like noise. You're not thinking about the information that you're hearing, all right? So active listening is super important in small talk, all right? And by this, I mean you need to listen to what the other person is saying, really listen, pay attention to details, pay attention to their tone, and read between the lines. So really think about the information that they are sharing with you. And this is important. You'll understand why when we talk about the next two steps, but I'll give you an example, okay? So for instance, imagine you and I have met for the first time at a networking event, okay? And we work in the same industry. Maybe we both work in advertising. And I tell you that I have been looking for a new opportunity for the last 6 months. Maybe I don't have a job and I'm looking for a new job, okay? Instead of just saying, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, or oh, good luck, or oh, that's interesting, you could say, I actually know a recruiter who might be able to help you. Maybe I can put you in touch, okay? So this response shows me that you're listening and you care about what I've said. You're not just saying, oh, or okay, or I see. You're actually responding to the details of what I have said because you have been listening actively, all right? So active listening, super, super important. Step 3 is to find things in common. Now, if you are actively listening to someone that you're chatting with, it's going to be easier for you to find things in common. So pay attention to details. And if you discover that you have something in common with that person, that is a safe topic to keep talking about. We mentioned that you shouldn't talk about anything too personal, anything too controversial, but if the other person has shared something with you, it means that they are comfortable talking about it and it's okay for you to continue on that same topic, all right? So for example, imagine that you both work in the same industry. You can keep talking about that industry. Imagine that you discover you have both visited the same country on holiday. You can talk about your holidays or your vacations to that place. If you find out that you are from the same city or from the same country, that's also a really easy topic to keep on talking about, all right? So again, if you listen actively, you will learn details and things that you have in common with that person, and that is always a safe topic to continue asking about and to continue making small talk about. Step 4 is to ask follow-up questions. Now, follow-up questions are questions you ask to get more information or more details about something that someone just told you, okay? So for example, if we are chatting and you find out that I am looking for a new job, okay? I mentioned to you I'm looking for a new job. You can ask me what type of role I'm looking for. You can ask me how the job search is going. If you find out I have a dog, you can ask me what kind of dog I have. If you find out that I am a musician, you can ask how long I've been a musician. You can ask what instruments I play. So again, follow-up questions are just asking for more details, okay? So make sure that the questions are still natural and they're not too personal. But generally, if someone has shared some information with you, it means that they're comfortable talking about it, all right? So asking follow-up questions shows that you are listening, shows that you care, and it's going to keep your conversation going naturally. Don't jump from topic to topic. Try to get more information about what the other person has already shared with you, all right? So if they have shared their job search with you, it means that they're comfortable talking about it. So it's a good idea to get some more information and to let them discuss that topic more rather than jumping from one topic to another, all right? So follow-up questions are a great way to keep the conversation going, show that you care, and let the other person talk about something that they're comfortable with. And last but not least, step 5 is to keep your small talk positive. Now, I want you to remember that small talk, especially with new people, is an impression of you. You are creating an impression of yourself, okay? So even if you are having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month or a bad year, all I'm saying is not to start talking about it, to complain, to talk about all of your problems in the first conversation you have with someone. I absolutely understand that you might be going through a hard time. Many people have had a very challenging year, myself included. However, I want you to think of small talk as an opportunity, okay? Every time you meet a new person, I want you to think of small talk, making small talk with them as a potential future opportunity. You never know where that relationship can go. You never know what opportunities might come from that simple conversation, okay? I'm gonna give you an example of this. I have actually gotten amazing job opportunities just from small talk that I made with people on vacation, okay? So I went to Cuba a long time ago and I met a lady there and I made small talk with her, I made conversation with her, and it was nice, it was fine, I was positive, even though I was really stressed on that holiday. And months later, she ended up keeping me in mind for an opportunity that she knew about. She put me in touch with someone who ended up giving me an amazing job opportunity, and that was all because I made positive small talk with her, even though I was going through a difficult time or a stressful time, all right? So I'm not saying that every single conversation is gonna turn into an amazing opportunity. I'm just saying that you never know. So treat every chance that you have to meet someone to make small talk as a potential opportunity, all right? Because if you leave a lasting impression, a positive impression, if there is a chance for a job, for a partnership, for a collaboration, for a business opportunity down the road, that person will have you in mind if you have created a good impression of yourself, all right? So even if you are going through a tough time, just don't talk about that during your small talk. You don't have to be fake. You just have to stick to more neutral topics. Get out of your own head, think about the other person, ask them questions, and keep your small talk positive. So there you have it, 5 simple steps to help you make great small talk in English. Now, if you would like to make notes or read about any of the information from today's lesson, there's a blog post on my website that goes along with this lesson. I'll link it down below for you. As well, if you want to master small talk in business situations, check out my Essential English for Business course, also linked down below. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2 of this lesson. I'll be teaching you 40 phrases and questions that you can use when you are making small talk in English. And as always, thank you so much for watching and for learning with me, and I'll see you soon in the next one.